Bom dia a todos e todas, na verdade, bom dia a todas vocês. Meu nome é Leonardo Neto, vocês estão no Rio International Publishers Summit. Sejam todos bem-vindas, todas bem-vindas. Essa é uma programação realizada pelo SNEL, aqui dentro da programação da Bienal, com a proposta de discutir temas que são relevantes para o mercado editorial. E a gente começa a nossa programação de hoje com uma conversa, uma entrevista que eu acredito que será muito interessante, com Bodour Al Qasimi. Please, the stage is yours. E para entrevistá-la, Talita Facchini, editora assistente do PublishNews.
Bom dia a todo mundo. Hi, Bodour. Nice to see you and chat to you again.
Hi, Talita. It's so nice to be back in Brazil. First time in Rio.
Ok. Quem precisar de tradução, a gente tem aqui os aparelhos. Vocês podem pegar aqui do lado. Enfim, está todo mundo preparado aqui para vocês poderem entender o que a gente está falando. E também a gente está sendo transmitido pelo Zoom. A gente também já disponibilizou o link online, caso vocês queiram compartilhar, fiquem à vontade. Bom, vou começar com uma mini bio aqui da Bodour, porque o currículo dela é grande, então eu vou resumir para vocês. So, let's start. Bodour is an avid advocate of the role of books and literacy, second female president of the International Publishers Association, and founder and CEO of Sharjah-based Kalimat Group. She's a global trailblazer and authority in the international publishing scene. In 2019, Bodour established PublisHer, an informal networking body that seeks to increase the number of women in leadership roles within the publishing industry. And this project will be the main topic of our conversation today, but not the only one. So, Bodour, again, thank you for being here. I know that it's not the first time that you visit Brazil, right?
Yes, that's right.
But it's the first time that you are here in Rio. How is your experience so far? How is it going?
So before I start, I just want to say thank you to all the organizers of the Rio Book Fair, and to thank you, Talita, for this interview, and to thank Flavia as well for putting everything together. As you said, Talita, it's my first time in Rio, but the third time in Brazil, and it's been really wonderful to be welcomed back into Brazil. The people here are just amazing. The hospitality, the warmth, the kindness I receive from everyone, it's really a testament to how beautiful Brazilians are as human beings, really wonderful people, and it's an honor for me to come back to Brazil. The only problem is the jet lag. I have to say, it's a 15-hour flight from where I come from, so it's a little bit of a trek. But once you're here, it's such a beautiful country.
Thank you. So, Bodour, let's start. I want to know more about your journey. How did you become interested in books, and how did you create Kalimat Group?
Okay, so I always say my journey started as a mother, because I have 4 children, and my oldest just turned 20 last week. And she's the one actually who made me start my publishing career by accident. So I was reading bedtime stories to my daughter, and I was reading Arabic books, which is our native language. And she told me, I hate all the books that you bring me. And I said, you know, that's a big problem. We need to fix it. And then I started my own publishing house because of her. And 20 years later, it's just wonderful to see the growth of the publishing industry, to see how many publishers are out there doing wonderful things in Arabic. And really setting up my own company, I got to witness firsthand the challenges of the publishing industry, what it's like to be a woman, what it's like to work in this industry and really travel around the world and meet publishers from everywhere and see the common challenges that we all share. And, you know, if you know me, you would know that I don't just sit and do nothing, you know. I love to be action-oriented. If I see a problem, I want to get involved and try to find solutions. So that was really how my journey started.
Yeah, and all this journey led you to be the second female president of the IPA, right? The International Publishers Association.
Yes, that's correct. So when I started my publishing house, there were not many publishers in the UAE. And we didn't have an association, actually. So I set up our association, the Emirates Publishers Association, in 2009. So we had, I think, about 5 publishers. That was it. And now, maybe 15 years later, we have over 300 publishers. So the growth is just fantastic to see how many publishers are in the Emirates publishing wonderful books. There's an industry now. And from my experience as president of our association, I ran for 2 terms. And then I wanted to join the International Publishers Association. At the time, there were few Arab associations represented. And when I applied and we joined and we became members, I started to learn a lot about the international publishing industry and worked my way through committees and through the executive committee, and then eventually becoming vice president and president. At the time, there was only one female president before me, Ana Maria Cabaneras, if you know her, and she was the only female president in 125 years. So it was a big shock for me to hear that. And then I was the second president, and I was very happy to pass the baton to Karini, who is now the 3rd female president of IPA. And we're very excited because our vice president is also a woman. So there's an opportunity for us to have 3 women in a row leading the IPA, which in my opinion is a huge shift from what it was before.
For sure. And how the idea of PublisHer came about? In 2019, right?
Yes, in 2019. So it was at the time when I was vice president of IPA. And I was really looking around, going to events, and you know, this example is not pertinent to Brazil because here you have a lot of women in leadership positions. But in other places, that's not the case. And I was in Rome Book Fair, actually, and I was invited to like a VIP room at the opening of the book fair. And I looked around, and I was the only woman in the room, you know, literally in this opening of the event. And there was a journalist who passed by, and she noticed me, and she asked the organizers, "Who's that woman?" And they told her, "Oh, she's Bodour, she's the vice president of IPA, and she's from United Arab Emirates." And she was like, "Huh, and she's the only woman here." And they were like, "Yeah." So she talked about it in her radio show, and she said, you know, how strange to see that, you know, it's the publishing industry is full of women, and yet in the leadership position, very few of them get represented. So I felt urged to do something about it, you know, and we organized a networking dinner at London Book Fair. I invited all the female publishers that I knew, and we got thinking and got very creative to think how we can establish something that will support women to get to leadership positions. And that's how PublisHer started. And we started as a networking platform to help women connect with each other, just like we're doing today, to give women a platform for them to express themselves, to showcase what they're doing. So we have our newsletter, and we have, you know, our social media where we like to highlight women's achievements all around the world and really give them a place to shine and to show what amazing work they're doing. And we have a lot of other programs. I think you're going to ask me maybe another question about that.
Yeah, will be the next one. Well, PublisHer created years ago a mentorship scheme, right, to match influential women in publishing market to young stars. So how this meeting works? Is this project active?
Yeah, so when we started meeting with women at book fairs, we started to ask surveys, questions like what's really stopping you from getting to leadership positions? What can we do to help you and support you? And many women felt, one of the first things they said was that, they didn't have anybody to help them and support them, like a mentor. And so we established a mentorship scheme within PublisHer, where women who have, leadership positions are matched with women who are just entering into the publishing industry. And we didn't really have the time or the resources to create a proper, full-fledged mentorship scheme. So we just arranged like a matchmaking, just connecting these two women together and give them an opportunity to have a chat, maybe a Zoom call once or twice. And really, it opened a lot of doors for these women. Sometimes you just need advice, when you're starting in the publishing industry. Sometimes you just need someone to connect you, to tell you, this is a good opportunity for you, to introduce you to someone. And that's what we started, and we hoped to continue as well. So we will be relaunching our mentorship program, and we would love as well to have the Brazilian chapter launch it as well. So one of the great things about PublisHer is that we have diverse board, and our board is really creative in coming up with ways of creating chapters. And I'm very honored to have Flavia here, who's on our board, and she's the head of the PublisHer Brazilian chapter. And we really use, Brazil as a positive example to other countries, because I love what Flavia has done, bringing all of you here together, creating a space for us to talk and share our stories and experiences is really the essence of what PublisHer is about. And we're hoping to launch chapters as well in many parts of the world, in India, in Indonesia. We're launching one in Lagos, in Nigeria, in Jamaica, in Europe. So we're doing many chapters. And we hope that these chapters really have a life of their own and start really creating and putting together events for women. So I hope we can have a mentorship program for Brazilian women through the chapter here that we have of PublisHer. So if you're interested to be part of it, please reach out to Flavia. I'm sure we can arrange something for that.
It's good to know that Brazil is, is in a good place, for this PublisHer. Because since the beginning, Karine is in PublisHer, Flavia, so we are an example.
Definitely. I mean, I think really I love coming back here because I see, everybody is really proactive and really wants to contribute to bringing women into leadership positions of the publishing industry. And it was really nice to have a conversation last night with some of the ladies. And I asked them, what's the situation like here in Brazil? And what was really beautiful to hear was that in, for example, the bigger publishing houses, not a lot of women have an opportunity to get to the leadership position. However, many of them have gone on to set up their own publishing houses, which I think is a beautiful example, of the resilience of women, and how strongly we feel about that, If we're not going to be given access, we'll do it ourselves, And this really, the drive that we have as women, really it's a testament to our nature and our strength and what we can provide and contribute to the publishing industry. And I just want to add one thing, someone was asking me why is it important for women to be at leadership position? That goes back down to our core mission in PublisHer. And I firmly believe that if women are given an opportunity to make decisions at a leadership level, then the books that we publish will be greatly affected, and we will have a different contribution to society. And what I love about publishing is that many of us share this mission. We love to publish books because we feel that in a small way, we play a role in changing societies, in creating a little bit of a, let's say, a growth in the diversity of books that come out. We have an opportunity to open people's minds. We have an opportunity to share voices. And this contribution is really important, especially if it's coming from a woman. So even the choices of the authors that we pick, who we publish, all of that matters a lot. So women's contribution, I just want to say, is really important. And that's our core mission of PublisHer, to give women an opportunity really to share their stories, to share their voice, and to make a positive contribution on society.
Well, more personally right now, could you share with us some experience that you have already faced sexism at work, some kind of discrimination or some kind of experience?
Yes, I faced a lot, you know, especially when I was starting. And I don't know if many of you can relate to this, but, you know, when you're...
everyone.
Yeah, you can relate. When you're starting in the publishing industry and you face some kind of discrimination, you tend to be quiet. You don't want to say anything about it because you don't want it to affect, you know, your work or whatever. But as I grew and as I, you know, got more experience, I realized it's very important to stand up for yourself and to really speak up, you know, and make a point of not accepting discrimination. And it's very difficult when you're the only one doing that. So one of the first events we organized for PublisHer was a networking dinner, and all the women started to talk about the discrimination that they faced in their work. It was like a therapy session for women, you know. They were all sharing their stories. And honestly, it felt so good to release that, you know, and to know you're not the only one going through it. And I think one of the aims of PublisHer is we also want men to be part of this movement. It's very important that men are involved in PublisHer because we want them to be our ambassadors and our champions and really to make decisions and help us and support us in our journey. So we always say men are welcome to join PublisHer. We always have events where we ask them to come and join and speak at certain events as well, because we need to work as a team to make it happen.
And do you have some data about the participation of women in the world or in the UAE? It's important too.
Yeah. In the UAE, I don't have specific data, but I'm happy to say that we have grown tremendously over the past few years. We have about 60 women active publishers in our association, and that's, you know, a big growth compared to where we were at the beginning. And in terms of international data, we are collecting data. So we have a survey that we give out whenever we participate in book fairs, and we ask people to fill that survey. And hopefully, once we compile all that data, we'll be able to share it.
And you have a lot of responsibilities as editor.
Can I ask about, can I just mention about our toolkit?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, because I think that might be something that you guys will be interested in. So sometimes people ask me, okay, what can we do in our company to support women in publishing? How can we contribute, even if it's just a little bit within our company? And we have a toolkit on our website. That's womeninpublishing.org. Anybody can download it for free. And I believe it's in Portuguese as well. So you can download it, and you can use it in your own company to see how gender balanced you are, what are the, sometimes a lot of the decisions we make are unconscious bias, you know, we're not aware of them, we're not aware of some of our decisions. So it's very good to have something to check, you know, and share with your team. So you can download our toolkit online and use it free of charge in your company to really see what you can do to promote gender equity in the workplace.
Amazing. So you have a lot of responsibilities as a woman. Traveling a lot, you are a mother, you are an editor, you're a publisher, doing interviews. You know, I want to know, how do you reconcile all these things that you need to do in your day with your responsibilities in your house, with your kids?
So I was chatting to Talita earlier about this. And I was like, yeah, it's so hard. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna say it's easy. It's so hard, you know, being a mom, having 4 children, doing all of the things I do, traveling. But the one thing I would say that helped me the most, and I shared the secret with Talita earlier today, is that I stopped trying to be perfect. You know, we try to be perfect in everything we do. Before an event, we'll practice and we'll study all of the material. And before a speech, we'll try to get everything, you know, perfect. And it takes time and effort. And I was like, you know what? I want to stop trying to be. I'm just going to be me, okay? I'm just going to be me. I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to say whatever I feel like saying. And actually, I found that it's better. People connect with you more when you stop trying so hard and you just be yourself and you just say what you feel. And you be like, you know, that person's just like me. We have a lot in common. And it really takes the pressure off. So I would encourage all of the women here today to just be gentle with yourself, you know. Don't try to put too much pressure. Do your best. Whatever you're doing a good job, whether it's being a mother, whether it's being a publisher, you're doing the best you can. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. And trust me, you know, things will happen and unfold in the best way possible.
Could you share with us the another tip, the another advice that you gave to me minutes ago about your relationship with trees and how do you meditate every day?
Yeah, so Talita was asking me, like, I saw what you're reading this summer, you're posting on your Instagram,
Yeah, I follow her.
a lot of books about trees. What's the secret? And I said to her, you know, I have a very busy life, so what I love to do, I spend my mornings like in nature, you know. I spend at least, if I have time, 1 hour meditating under a tree or, you know, somewhere where it's peaceful and quiet. And honestly, it's the best thing that I've discovered because I get to connect with myself. You know, I get to listen to the thoughts in my head. I quiet my mind. And it really gives me perspective, you know, for the rest of my day. And I was telling her I developed a relationship with this tree that I love. You know, every day I sit under this tree and I meditate and I feel calm, you know, I feel really relaxed and connected to nature and connected to myself. So that was a little advice that I shared with Talita earlier today.
Yeah, I was telling to Bodour that in São Paulo I live in a farm. I will try to find a tree to do the same.
Yeah,
Maybe you'll help me.
You should.
So the last time I talked to you, I guess 3 years ago already, right? I asked you to give a message for women who are facing sexism at work and challenges. So do it again, please. I want another advice, another encouraging messages for all the women who are listeners today.
Okay, I don't remember what I said 3 years ago, but
You said to trust ourselves. So maybe if you said the same, I will ask you to try to find another encouraging message.
I think one of the things that I learned in my journey is really to believe in myself more, you know. We doubt our ability, our capability of doing things a lot, especially as women, you know. I feel men have more confidence when they go into the workplace, and even if they don't know something, they'll give it a shot, you know. But we hesitate a lot as women, you know. We're like, well, if I'm not 100% sure, I don't think I should do it. We don't take risks, we don't take chances as much as men do. And I would love, you know, everybody here to think about that and to really see how we can embody that more. How can we take a risk, get out there, do something that we've never done before, believe in ourselves, believe that we can do it. I think it all starts with the mind. You know, if you believe you can do it, you can do it. So that's the message I would give women today.
And I was thinking here in another question, do you have learned something about in your relationship with Carini and Flavia? Because I know you are friends, you talk, you have meetings together. You learn something about our reality as Brazilian publishers?
I learned a lot. I'm always listening and learning from these amazing women that I get the opportunity to meet and work with. And I believe that in Brazil, what's really beautiful is that you have community, you know? You really have a community. And I think community is the most important thing, whether it's in society or it's in work. You know, if you look at our ancient ancestors, how they used to live, they all lived in a community. They all had strong bonds and connections. And when we live in a disconnected society, as we do, you know, in the modern world, we're all on our phones, we're all, you know, distracted, we forget the importance of community and the importance of relationships and friendships. And I think in Brazil, what I've seen so far is that you value community a lot. You value friendship, you value relationships between people, whether they're at work or whether they're, you know, personal relationships. And honestly, I've been here, this is my 3rd time, and I feel like I have a lot of friends in Brazil, even though I don't live here, but I feel that you build communities and you build relationships with people in the most beautiful way. So keep doing that, and I hope that we can all learn from this beautiful example.
And to finish our conversation, our time is finishing. Can you please tell us about the PublisHer program in Frankfurt?
So we have a very busy year for PublisHer this year. It's very exciting. You know, we started in 2019, and then we had a little bit of a dip because of COVID, you know, and we couldn't have events. And now we're picking up again, which is really wonderful. We have a wonderful program in Frankfurt. So if you're in Frankfurt, come and find us. We're at the PublisHer stand. You'll find it on the map. And we have every morning coffee and networking for women. And you can come, have a coffee, meet some amazing female publishers. We have panel discussions as well. And we have a wonderful exhibition that we had in Bologna that we're bringing to Frankfurt as well. And it's about the female represented in children's books. So how females are represented from all around the world. It's an exhibition that was organized by the Bologna Book Fair, and we asked them permission to bring it to Frankfurt. And it's a really, really wonderful exhibition. So I invite you all to come and visit us in Frankfurt, have coffee with us, meet some amazing new female publishers, and get to hear some great discussions on PublisHer.
So thank you again, Bodour. Our conversation was really great. It was good to see that Brazil is an example for other women and other markets. So thank you again. Your project is really important for us.
Thank you. Thank you for this interview. It's been really wonderful to see you again. And thank you all for being here and listening to PublisHer. And hopefully the next panel, I'm very excited to hear about it. We'll learn more about what it's like to be a woman publisher in Brazil.
Thank you so much, and thank you for everyone who are listening to us.